We finally caught Morris in his favorite spot by the front door, looking out on his world. So many have asked me to tell you more about his story, so I thought I would take this rainy Saturday afternoon and kind of give you the backstory. It's probably going to be in 2 parts, though, so this is our Morris, and we adopted him and his brother Maddox at the same time from a local shelter, and he was definitely the star of the show. He was so friendly and so outgoing. Both of them had been brought into the shelter, and you could tell that they had suffered some type of abuse, but we will probably never know the full extent of it. But my husband immediately fell in love with him, so we asked to see both of the cats because they're brothers. They wanted to adopt them together. So they put us in this private room, and man, Morris stole the show. He walked right up and jumped on me, and that was kind of it. You just kind of know when you find your partner, your soulmate. But they were still relatively young, and we didn't know a lot of their history. We knew that they had been declawed before we ever came into the picture. And like most of you, I didn't know a whole lot about declawing, other than it was something that people do, obviously. But as the years started going on, we noticed Morris having more and more mobility issues, and he started limping more. We started having a lot of problems with him using the litter box. He would go beside it, or he would go on a rug, or he'd basically go anywhere that wasn't inside the litter box. So after countless trips to vets to try to figure out what on earth was wrong with him, I had a friend of mine suggest that we actually look up and find a cat behaviorist. I didn't know such a thing existed, but they do. And we happened to be so very fortunate to find one of the absolute best on the East Coast who was accepting new patients. But this was during the pandemic, so she couldn't actually come and physically see him. But we did a couple of Zoom meetings with her, and we sent her videos of his behavior and like how he was starting to walk, which was a really bad limp. He was limiting his trips up and down the stairs and stuff. And one of the very first things she said was that, medically he's got to be seen. So she put us in touch with an all-cat veterinary clinic here in Atlanta, Georgia, and they specialize in cats. They don't accept dogs or any other animals. They just work on baby felines. And so we took him up there, and the vet, she did her evaluation, and she asked me to feel his front paws, and I felt them, and he had regrowth of his claws. They were actually growing back because of an improperly done declaw. And I would say about 2 hours later, I left absolutely in tears when I realized the extent of damage that it does to cats to take their claws from them, and that it can cause long-term effects like arthritis and bone issues. So we immediately started talking about doing a corrective surgery, because what I didn't realize is that declawing is actually amputation. They go in and they actually amputate up to the first knuckle in the joint, and they do that on every single digit. And it depressed, look at how cute he is. It depressed me so much. But when declaws are done wrong, they can have this effect where the joints start to regenerate and claws start to come back. And she described it like for us walking around with a very pointy pebble in our shoe 24/7 that we can never get rid of. And she said, imagine the pain that comes with that. And then you start changing your gait and how you walk. And then you have other issues, hip issues, leg issues, back issues. She said the same thing happens with cats. So that led us to making the very difficult decision to have a corrective surgery done and re-amputate and finally remove everything that should have been removed the first time, to try to give this guy a little bit of peace and a little bit of a pain-free life. They immediately put him on a lot of pain medicine, a lot of anti-inflammatory medicine, to try to ease his pain until we could get him in for surgery. And our behaviorist had us go through a crazy exercise of choosing a different type of litter for him, because he clearly was not happy with his litter box anymore. It had become so uncomfortable he couldn't use it. And it was softer on his paws to go on a soft rug or something. He didn't put as much pressure on his legs when he did that. So we set up what we call the litter box cafeteria, and I'll show you some videos of that. But anyway, we got that set up, and for about 2 weeks we let him experiment with 9 different types of litter, from very, very soft to paper to puppy pads. And he finally chose the litter he wanted, and we ended up getting him a new litter box, which helped alleviate a lot of his troubles. It's basically a senior cat litter box, so he doesn't have to jump into it. He can just step into it. So that helped tremendously with him not going, because cats don't want to not use their litter box. Like, that's their place. That's where they're comfortable doing it. So to be in such anguish that you don't use a litter box, it means something's wrong. So anyway, we got him settled with that, and we were on the schedule to move forward with the surgery. So stay tuned for part 2.